Hello and welcome students. Command line commands and network settings on your practice labs projects. And here in this video we are going to show you some essential and necessary commands that one help desk professional, one IT professional must know, and all the basic settings that any help desk should know about, and how to enable your machine to communicate over the network and communicate over the internet. So we are going to cover this basic stuff, and I would say these are the basic tools that you should note down somewhere, and you should equip yourself with those skills and commands, because these commands really helps you. Even there are some different sort of problems and IT related issues and when you're resolving, but if you knew these basic commands, so you could easily handle the bigger issues, and even you can start your troubleshooting with those basic commands. So let's move to the document first, and then we're going to redirect to the practice labs environment. And here you can see, here's your doc looks, and these are the content and the page numbers and where you can find each specific topic. And the machine, the practice lab resource we are going to use in this project is the PLab Win10. It's a client machine, and the good thing is that it is the domain joined client machine, the member client machine. So we have some commands later on I'll show you in this video where we need some details about our domain controller, what is our DC, and what's the fully FQDN, the fully qualified domain name of the user. So if you're using a standalone machine, a workstation, so this command will not really help you to know your domain name and your domain controller or your FQDN. But instead, if you have the client machine, so this command helps you out to find out your root, your domain controller. And there are other commands also that is more favorable and really help you when you are troubleshooting on the client machine, the client member of the domain controller. And later on in this doc, you will find once you have this doc before the practical, you will find that we have attached the screenshots for you. So if you missed anything, or if you are not on the right, like let's say if you are going wrong and something goes not related to the doc or something get messed, so you can easily follow all the steps and all the way of typing the command, and the keywords we have with these commands, so you can see the right way to type those keywords along the command. Now it's time to move to the practice lab environment. So here you already knew that what step we take all the time to reach to the right lab, the lab which we are using throughout these projects. So if you scroll down on the content viewer, so in the last under where, here practice labs custom, and here you're going to select this PLab Server 2019 sandbox. So you'll click on that lab, and it will open the virtual machines, the practice labs machine that will really require, and it is dependent on the project, the nature of project. So as I mentioned in the doc, that you're going to need the client machine, the client member machine. So I'm going to power on that PLab Win10 machine, and it's not necessary to turn on the PLab DC01, but let's let it open, no problem. And we're going to wait for the initializing, the booting of the machines. And here at this moment, because we are showing you this project and this command, if I add something related to the CLI, because I found the CLI more satisfying and a shortcut way to apply settings to achieve different tasks. Because when you are using GUI, the UI, the GUI method, you need to click and you need to open different windows and different dialog boxes. You need to click and check and allow. But in the CLI, in contrast, it will execute whatever you want. So it is like a to the point thing where you just type the exact command and exact requirement and it only execute that thing. And to achieve that thing, you don't need to open different windows, and you don't need to navigate yourself to the different windows option, and you don't need to go in deep. So this is the most satisfying and really professional thing in terms of managing system and managing system environment and machine and troubleshooting Windows issues, that if you are good with the CLI, if you have good skills to achieve tasks through the command line, so it really gonna help you to sort out multiple issues. And there are different environments like the Linux, and even in the Windows Microsoft environment also you have the PowerShell that provide you a vast level and vast range of CLIs, the commands you can use to execute different sort of settings, and you can apply and restrict, and you can do in the Microsoft Server environment you can achieve a lot of things. You can execute different codes and different commands with the different the multiple syntax and arguments, and you can even control the whole domain environment. You can execute the group policy, you can restrict machines, you can apply policies through the PowerShell. So in short, the CLI provides you the quick way to achieve your task, to apply what you want, to execute any operation and any application, and yes, you can manage system easily through the CLI. So in the first in the starting, we need to open the CMD. So you can simply click and type CMD, and it will show you the option here. But here you can see on the right and the middle, you can say that there's an open option. It will open the CMD. But if you want to run some administrative level task, like you want to just you want to check the disk, or you want to run some scanning, so at that moment, if you go with the user privilege CMD, like if you click on the open, it will open the user level privilege CLI to you. So if you go with that, so it will stop you and it will show you that this interface, and this time you cannot achieve this task. So here, if you run as administrator, so the administrator privilege will be added in your CLI mode, and you can execute different command that is related to the administrative tool. So here, the first command you can easily execute here. And if you want to know your machine name, if you want to know that what is the computer name, and if you're not sure about the name that you set, so you can simply run the command hostname. So let's type hostname and enter. So here you can see in a quick way and in a shortest time, you just type few letters and it show you the output in a very specific and precise detail. So the host name of the machine is the P1110. In contrast, if you want to know the name with the GUI, so you need to right click here, click to the system, and then it will show you your machine, and you click to the about. Then here you will find the device name. And there are different ways in the GUI. You can directly jump and find out your machine name, your host name. But the CLI helps you. In matter of letters, you will get the host name. And in addition, there is a very essential and important command throughout the IT, and you will find this command helpful in every sort of troubleshooting, and mostly related to the network troubleshooting. But in terms of computer networking, this command is very essential, and sometimes this command provide you a lot too much details, a lot detail to start your troubleshooting, to start finding the root of the error, where the error started, and what are the key errors we have, what are the key changes had been made to the system. So you can simply start with you can type ipconfig, and IP for the internet protocol, configuration. So if you type just ipconfig, so it will show you a little version of the information of the detail like your IP address, your subnet, your default gateway. And here's you have the IPv6 link local address. So it provides you a precise and little detail. But if you want to know something more like your MAC address, and mostly let's say you create a ticket, or a user created a ticket for the help desk that my machine is not communicating, or anything it might be happen like my machine is not over the network, or somehow my machine is not connected to the network, or anything you will get from the user. So, and the requirement is what, that you should know the MAC address of the machine, or you have any software that is centrally controlling all the machines, and you need to know about the MAC address, right? So in that case, you will type what, ipconfig /all, so it will show you what the physical address. But one thing you need to know, that here you can see it is the Ethernet adapter MAC address, right? So it is the LAN card physical address here you are seeing. But if you have the Wi-Fi adapter also, or the laptop or the machines are running on the wireless communication, so you will find the wireless adapter 2. And if you want to know the MAC address of that wireless adapter, so you should check out under the wireless adapter settings. So here you have the Ethernet adapter details, and you have the MAC address, the physical address, and here another detail, what, the DHCP enable. This is the important one, because let's say you connected an Ethernet cable or some user and they're not getting the IP address right, and they're complaining, and the help desk person, the IT professional, just came to that machine and want to check that what happened and why the machine is not getting the IP. And if you did what, you did just simply ipconfig /all, and what happens, that you found the DHCP enable is no. So when the DHCP enable is no, and you created, you're attaching the cable and the system is not getting IP address automatically, what's the reason? Because the DHCP is not enabled in that machine. And how do you find that? Simply typing ipconfig /all. So it will show you the DHCP status, so you can simply change this setting, and later in the part, in the last part, before the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can turn on this DHCP settings. Then you have the IPv6 address, the subnet mask, and other DNS server settings. And this one we already talked in the project 1, that what is the importance of this DNS server address. Now another command, we covered the host name, the ipconfig, and its argument, its keyword is /all. And now it's time to show you another huge and useful command. And there you all, the IT professionals dear command, we call the ping. And this command is just do simple thing but resolve almost all the issues, because once you get the response from the host, from the destination, all the worries wipe out, and you start feeling like you're in the heaven, because these replies all the time makes happy and give a smile and give a lot of stress relieving for the IT professional, because it does what, it's a protocol, and that ensures once you get the reply, it ensures you that the packet, that the like you can say the packet, the data in the minute form we call packet, what happened, leaves your machine, go to the destination, and then return to your machine, and then you see the first reply. So you got 4 replies. It means the 4 packets leave safely and nicely from your machine and go to the destination. The destination is what, 192.168.0.1. it is what, our domain controller. So all these 4 packets leaves your machine, reach to the domain controller, and then return back safe to home, and there you're seeing this reply. But if you see other messages, other responses, like if you ping 0.2, because this is the IP address of another machine which is not power on right now, so you will find something like that, the destination host is unreachable because the DNS is resolving but the host is unreachable. Or if you see request timeout, so this means that it is filled and your packet is not echo back, so that means the connection is failed. So the first troubleshooting trick is what, and I would say the skill is what, that you should know the ipconfig command and the all argument, and then you should ping the default gateway. This one, let me show you. If you're getting ping from the default gateway, that means your machine, your client machine, any machine on the network is totally connected with what? With the router or with the server, right? So this is the important thing, that your machine is fully connected with the default gateway, with the router, with the gateway interface. So this is the first and very important skill, and I would say trick and method you should apply while troubleshooting these little computer networking issue. I would say computer networking. It's not the core networking, it is a little computer networking, we would say. Then we have another command, but before that I will show you another extended version of the ping, and which is what, if you just press the cursor up key, so it will show you the previous command. If you add another argument -t, so it will happen, what will happen, that the ping will go continuous and it won't stop until you break the sequence. And here you can see this time it's not 4 packets. Every time there's a new packet leaving your source machine. The source machine is what, where's from the point where the ping is initiated. Now here you can see there are multiple packets leaving the source, reaching the destination, and then return back home. So here's the way you can check the continuous connectivity of your machine to the destination. So this is another good tool to troubleshoot a lot of issues. Let's say if your wire is, if your cable, if your connector is loose, and some wire points that are mounted, and you would say that are simply punched on that Ethernet RJ45 connector, and if the contact of the wires to the pin, if the contact is getting loose, so sometimes what happens, you're facing connection disconnection frequently. So if you're troubleshooting such issues, you can execute this extended ping and do what, you can just push the wire, push the connector, and move the connector and cable, and unplug and plug, and that way you can easily figure out where's the problem. And sometimes happens what, that there is a device in the middle that is providing you the connectivity malfunctioning and giving you different responses, like if you run the extended ping, so it is sometime replying and sometime dropping. So you can easily figure out by running this command and then start your troubleshooting. So this is the argument, the keyword that you can add with the ping, and it will show you a continuous, the extended result. But here a little tip to just add here, that if you executed this extended ping and want to break the sequence, so what you should do, just press Ctrl C to stop the sequence. So it will stop immediately as soon as you press the Ctrl C. So we have a very useful and interesting command now, this ns lookup, and it does what, that if you only knew the IP address of any destination, and in terms of your local Active Directory, and you want to know the fully qualified domain name, so if you type ns lookup space that specific IP address, so it will give you what, the domain name of that machine and the details that you required. But here you can see there's a security thing running in the DNS that is not letting this ns lookup command to provide you the detail of the domain controller, but you can find out the other details, like 0.2 is another machine, but right now the machine is not working, it is power off. Let me show you example to the Google. Let's say you want to know the IP address of the Google. So if you type ns lookup space www google.com and press enter. So it will give you the IP address, and here at it seems that Practice Lab has just stopped the service here because it works and it is a Practice Lab. Let me show you the command and its application here in my CMD. So here you can see it is my command prompt, my machine, my systems. So if you want to know the IP address of the google.com, so simply type www.google.com and before that lookup, and here you got what? The IP address of this domain name. So it gives you what? If you type the domain name, so it gives the IP address and other non-authoritative DNS detail. And if you give the IP address, so in contrast, it gives you what? The domain name. And it does what? It just collect the details of that specific IP address or the domain name that you type against the command, and it will just give you right away the detail that is already fed where on the DNS, where the entry, the index that contain the destination servers and the details of these servers. So it collect the detail from that point and just give you on the screen. So it seems that Practice Lab has just stopped the service and it's not allowing the user to use this command within the environment because it's not so difficult to execute. You just type lookup and the destination server, it gives you the detail, or type the destination IP address, it gives you the name along with the IP address. Then we have another netstat, and this is the network statistics. So this command does what? If you execute this command, it will show you the real-time connections that your client machine is making to any destination over the internet or any port that is currently open and making sessions with the remote ports. It will show you all the real-time detail, so you can execute it again and again and check whether the specific connection that you are investigating and you want to know is closed or not. So this command helps you to see all the listening connections and all the closed ones. Then we have another command called check disk, and we're going to type chk and dsk, the check disk, and you press enter. So it will quickly do what? It will quickly check your disk and provide you a detail that how much space you have and how many batch sectors. And batch sector in short are what? Sometimes, and most of the time, we copy things, we install things in our machine like software, application, pictures, music, video files. And what happens when we delete those files? Sometimes it not properly deleted from your system, and the part of the disk, that video file, the music file used, when you delete something, it return back as a free space. But sometimes it's stuck and the mess created on that specific sector, and it become what? The bad sector. It didn't replace with the free space. So if these bad sectors start increasing in numbers, they start just slowing your disk, and your disk is starting to giving errors and you getting slow, and it start loading a lot and take a lot of CPU utilization. So for that we have a tools, and that is provided by the Microsoft Windows, the check disk. You can run the check disk, and if you want to recover your disk, so you can add check disk /r. So it will ask you that if you want to perform this step, but it is a little thing that I want to add. If you type the check disk, and if you want to check the specific disk and you mention it like that, like C, so you know the C contain the operating system, so its checking should be performed something in a different mode, because if this checking is started right now, your all operation will be stuck. so it will schedule that checking and recovery for the next system restart. But if you perform this check this for your other drive like your D, E, or your USB, even your F drive might be, so it will perform this step just in front of you and don't schedule it for the next time. So this is the check this command application, and here we have another command to know about the host name and even the domain name of your machine. So you are the member of which machine, of which domain, the practice lab. So if you type who am I, so it will show you which account, which user account you're using on your domain environment, and it go with your local workstation also, which is not the member of domain. If you type who am I, so it will provide you the user account name. So what's the difference between the host name and the who am I? Host name gives you the machine name, and who am I gives you the username, which user is logged in right now. You can get the details by executing the command who am I. Now we're heading towards the new command, and that's what this command is a little different from the check this scan now. And this command does what? It scans your system folder. So what we have, and what is the system folder in the Windows, we have, if you click to the PC and go to the C, you will find, and it's the same from the Windows 95 to Windows 98 till now Windows 11 and 10, that you have the folder called the Windows, and it is an important folder that contain all the backup system files that is running this GUI desktop based OS. So here you'll find a system folder, system32 in the system, that contain the most essential and the necessary file that are the backbone, and that contain even the background service files. So if you start getting errors, and if your operating system start lagging, and you're seeing that the system is getting slow, and you feel that there must be some errors in the system, so you can run this command. You can execute this command first to scan, and then you can recover those system files. Now the command is specifically what this SFC, the system file checker. Then you can add scan now. If you execute this SFC, so it will provide you the other arguments and the keyword that you can add with the command to see different vendors. Now if you type here SFC space / scan now, so it will start scanning your system files, whole of your system32 folder and the system folder, and it will provide you the detail that how many files are corrupted or not working. So according to that, you can repair those files and just repair and troubleshoot these system errors. And also you can break this whole process by pressing what? Control C. So this is the helpful command to stop any process running in the CLI. And in addition, you can simply search out different commands and their uses and their modes, and there are different arguments that you can add the keywords with the command to achieve different tasks, to achieve different goals. And here, as for this project video, we are keeping things basic and simple, so we are not going in the depth, in the details, but you can search on the Google, on the Bing, whatever search engine you like. You can go on and type the command and explore the CLI mode of the operating system, and definitely you will learn a lot, and these practices really provide you more confidence while working on the CLI environment. Now it's time to move on, and let's cover the last topic of this video, is what the network settings. So if you scroll right, and you all the time find this icon, and it is also coming, I'm not sure, but from Windows 98 we are seeing this icon here that tells the network access. So most of the time if we see different icons on it, like the notification, or so it says the limited or cross, so it means there's no LAN connection. And in this Windows 10 11 environment, we see the signals that tells the wireless connectivity. So this is the quickest way if you scroll down and want to know about your network status. So this icon is a quickest way to see the network status, like the network is connected or not connected. So if you want to do some settings, and let's say if you already troubleshooted the issue that ipconfig /all command tells you that DHCP is not enabled in that machine, and there's a ticket for you that go to that machine or just take the session, but if the machine is not connected to the network, so you will not get the remote session of that machine. So what you have to do, IT professional or any help desk person, any help desk professional needs to go to the machine and have to enable the DHCP setting on that specific client machine. So you need to do what? You can simply right click here, go to the network internet settings, and here you will see these options. So on the left you have the Ethernet, and Ethernet is what it is the most useful technology for the Microsoft environment and the PC. Most of the PCs are, and I would say almost all the PCs use this Ethernet technology to the machines, and this technology enables these PCs, the workstation, even the server connect to the network, and it allows and it let all the machine easily connected over the network and also over the internet. So you click to the Ethernet and you can search the Ethernet details. There's a separate topic and you will find some IEEE thing related to the Ethernet, because there are some protocols of the Ethernet, and there is so much more about the Ethernet. You can investigate, you can search, and you can find out whatever you want related to the topic. So here you will find this network connected thing. So if you click to that, you will find the details, the basic detail of your network, like the IP address, the subnet. But if you want to change your settings and you want to do what you want to enable what the DHCP into that client machine, so you need to click where change adapter setting. But here you can see this is the restriction, and the domain controller is not letting this machine to change the network settings. So no problem, we have other machine, the PLAB DC01, and we can show you this setting here. Because what happens, the group policy is not letting the client machine to change the network settings, but we can do these sort of settings on the domain controller because we are the administrator and we are the policy creator. So it's not providing the access. Why? Because it is the practice lab environment, right? And the practice lab won't let you to change the network setting, because if you change the network setting, these machine will go out and these machine will go offline over the network. So I can show you these settings from my system. So let me show you here. Simply let me open the same settings for you, and these are little limitations we have in the practice lab environment, but you can even try on your own machine, but don't save those settings. So if you click to the Ethernet, you will find the change adapter option, and if you click here, it will open these adapters for you. And let me bring this here on the capture area, and here right now I have 4 adapters. 2 are the virtual adapter, 1 is the Wi-Fi, and the first one the Ethernet, which is right now I'm using the LAN connection. So if you right click here and go to the properties, it will show you the other adapter details. So here we're using the IPv4, the 192.168.0 dot something, because we have the 32-bit IP addresses, so we are using IPv4, and you can search this IPv4 thing on the Google. So if you want to change your DHCP setting, and if you want to resolve the ticket where you have been asked to change the client machine settings to the DHCP, so you should do what? Click to the properties, and here it is already selected on obtain an IP address automatically. So it means what? That this machine is already getting IP address automatically, which means the DHCP is on. So if I open my CMD and if I type ipconfig /all, so it will give me under the Ethernet adapter details, it give me what? The DHCP enable, yes. Why? Because you have selected obtain an IP address automatically, and also you did the same with the obtain DNS server address automatically. But if you find the check is here, use the following, let's say, and if I type some IP here 192.168.0.1 and 255 and 192.168.0.10, like that. So this is the static way, the manual way, and if you find that, that means the DHCP is not working. The IP address is set manually, and that will do what? When you attach the cable to your machine, to the workstation, and the setting is that, so if the IP is not binded to the machine or it's not provided by the system administrator, it will not provide the connectivity. So for resolving this issue, for turning on the DHCP setting on the client machine, you should do what? You should click to obtain an IP address automatically and do the same with the DNS, and then click OK. So you will find the DHCP is working fine. So right now these are some practice lab limitations, so we cannot show you how to just change setting here in the practice lab environment, but instead I show you these skills here on my local machine. So I'm sure the confusion is gone after watching this practical on my own machine, but here you will find some limitation and restrictions, and we can further deal with those restrictions later and show you how to just overcome these barriers. But these are the skills and commands and skills and the steps and methods we want to show you throughout this project video. I hope you understand the whole concept, and these skills really help you to start from any point in the section of troubleshooting, because you know, as an IT guy, you must be a great and smart troubleshooter while you are working in any IT environment, or you are working as an IT professional. So you should be more resilient and quick while troubleshooting the issues, and you must know all the basic tools, because most of the time these basic commands and these basic tools resolve bigger issues and provide you a more insights of the error. So that's it for this video.